So the subject of the matter today is Texas Roadhouse or Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, which one am I gonna eat today? Because me and my friend were gonna go to Texas Roadhouse, then she canceled on me, but I'm also bringing my mom. And I know my mom likes Texas Roadhouse, but I know she also likes Buffalo Wild Wings. And I'm just thinking, would I rather have ribs and salad and rolls? Those rolls, man, they're good. Or would I rather have chicken chunks with salad? I don't know, but I'm hungry. Or maybe we could go somewhere. Maybe we could go to, but I don't really like IHOP that much. I mean, I like it, but I like all their sweets, and I'm trying not to eat that right now. And honestly, I probably should stay away from fried foods, but oh well. Their ribs at Texas Roadhouse might be fried. I don't know what they do. I don't cook the food. Oh, did I tell you guys I'm also getting these cute emo Hello Kitty glasses? Okay, so they're leopard. They're like wide rimmed, and they're big glasses, and they're leopard with a Hello Kitty bow at the side, and they're prescription. I'm getting them from Lens Alter, so when I get them, I'm gonna be doing a review and showing you what it looks like. Hopefully they'll look cute on me. I think they will, because I was looking at my old pictures and I think that I looked better with thicker glasses, and I don't know why. Maybe I just look, I don't know, but I think it's like a nerdy kink. I don't know. You know how the emo girls always wear the big glasses? That's what I want. Not this kind. Now this kind, I didn't buy these off of a special site. I just got these straight from the shop when I went to get my eye exam. And they blew air in my eyeball. And it went like that. I was like, what the fuck? Why are you blowing air right in my eye? What does that do? I don't know, but it's like an old-fashioned place. But honestly, I think that their method works better than the other shops I've been to, because I noticed that the prescription is way more accurate. Like, I can see way better. So I might just go there forever. I grew up going there. I remember my first time getting glasses. I couldn't see anything, and I thought it was normal. I thought it was normal to not see. I mean, I guess it was for me. But the moment I put on those glasses, I went, whoa. It's a whole new world. Like, everything was so beautiful and so detailed. And I was just thinking, that's what it looks like. You know, my whole life, I couldn't see the board. You know, I couldn't see the board. I never knew, and I got in trouble for it because I couldn't fucking see. But I thought it was normal. I thought it was normal to not be able to see the board because I couldn't see it. And then they told me to write down something on the board I couldn't fucking see. I didn't know it at the time either. I just thought I had normal vision. And I was like, maybe in the back of my head, I was like, how is everybody seeing this board when I can't? I guess my middle school brain didn't put two and two together, but I finally realized that I needed glasses eventually. And I remember when I first started wearing them, I hated the way I looked in them because I thought I looked real nerdy and gross. But then I remember, I think it was in 10th grade in high school, I had my glasses on. Okay, and it was just happened to be that day I saw this most beautiful man in the hallway, and I was like, I need to keep these on. I need to keep these on because without these on, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have seen that. I wouldn't have seen him, and I wouldn't have wanted to wear glasses because he made me want to wear glasses. I was looking at him, I was like, oh, I need to wear these glasses every day. I need to wear these every day because if God made that and I can't see it without glasses on, bitch, I would keep these bitches on. And that's what happened. That's what happened. That's how I started wearing glasses. And it's a very important part of my character is that my character as a person. You know, I don't know if I would even be wearing glasses right now if it weren't for that man. So thank you. Also, oh my God, story time. Later on in life, I ended up making out with him. But he looked way different, and he kind of let go of himself, but I ended up making out with him. And it was just a huzzah moment. I was like, yeah, huzzah. I really did it. I really made out with this man. But yeah, I mean, he looked way different. I would have rather have made out with him in high school, but I didn't have the guts to talk to him. I was way too shy. I had social anxiety. I was so scared of everybody. And, you know, I took medicine for a while. And then I started to realize that the medicine kind of stopped working after a while, and then I started to realize I had to work on it myself. So now I'm unmedicated and I have no anxiety at all. And that's goals right there. I never thought I'd be here. I had to do everything I did to get to this point. I had to be naughty. I had to be a bitch. I had to do things that were illegal. I had to do illegal substances. Well, not necessarily, but I mean, you know, I believe in like the butterfly effect. So like whatever, you know, every little event trickles into existence, and everything creates now. And without every past experience, you wouldn't be here. And I really think it's amazing, if I'm being honest, because it's weird. And sometimes things will like come into existence so perfectly. It seems like it's perfectly orchestrated. And that's the huzzah moment that I realize that I'm meant to be here, and that I was meant to do the things that I did to get here for my character development as a person. But yeah, and that's when I realized, you know, fate does exist. And I know this because I've experienced it, and I understand that I'm also psychic. And, well, I don't want to be, but I am. And whether I know it or not, like sometimes my brain will think something and I won't recognize that as a psychic ability until whatever I was thinking happened later. Whether it be weeks, years, it's always been a thing. It's like a ESP, or you could call it co-creating reality. I don't know what you could call it. It's freaky and it's weird. But I try not to overthink about that kind of stuff because I don't have the answer. Nobody does. Nobody knows truly what's going on behind the veil or curtains of human existence. Nobody knows. And, you know, I feel like people act like they know the answer. They act like they know how to do things. But in reality, it's human nature. You don't have to try. You don't. You don't have to try to manifest anything. I mean, you can think about what you want. But to try, I think about what I want more than anything. I fantasize. They also call it visualizing, but I call it fantasizing. Because fantasizing has brought me everything I've ever wanted. And I really mean that. Like literally every fucking thing I've ever wanted. And whether it be on purpose or not, some of them weren't good. Some of them I thought and I didn't want it and it happened. And it's not, that's a part of my psychic ability that I'm talking about is, you know, something like along the lines of before I had my baby, you know, I was paranoid that something would go wrong during birth. I was paranoid. And lo and behold, it did. It went wrong. It did, because I remember Devin, I told him, and he said, be careful or else you might manifest it. And I'm like, okay, well, I just can't stop. I can't stop thinking about, something's going to go wrong. I'm so scared. And something did go wrong. So when I gave birth to my child, he swallowed meconium. And we didn't know it at the time, but we were looking at him, and he didn't look right. And it's not, it just, he looked too pale, like a little bit blue on the hands. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And like, he wasn't opening his eyes or anything. I was like, this doesn't feel right. And the nurse said, oh, he's fine. No, bitch, he wasn't. So the other nurse came in, and she was like looking at him, and she's like, I think they like took him out of the room to like do some like breathing tests or something on him. And me and my ex-boyfriend, my father of my child, we were like, why has he been gone for 3 hours? And we're crying, we're upset. We knew there was something going on. And we're like, oh my God, is our son okay? Like, is he gonna die? Like, what the fuck's going on? Why has he been gone from our room for 3 fucking hours and nobody's came in to tell me anything? I don't know. But I was upset. And me and my ex were upset. We were both bawling. And I couldn't even barely stand up. So I was like, Devin, could you go find somebody to ask where our son is? So he went, and he was gone for like an hour, and I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? And then, oh my God, like, sorry. And then they're like, oh, he's having some breathing problems. I was like, oh my God. And then I started bawling. Me and Devin were bawling. And they were like, we don't know what's wrong with him. We took him to the NICU here. But they also said that the NICU there didn't have any experts. So they had to transfer him to a different hospital an hour away. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, what the fuck? So me and Devin, I wobbled over there. God, it hurt so bad. But I wobbled over there. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then I started crying, and then he started crying because we were looking at him, and I was like, oh my God, what if this is the last time I see him? Like, oh my God, I'm so scared. Like, like I was so scared. And I saw him with his tubes in his nose, and I was like, oh my God, there's something wrong. And like, we were looking at his oxygen, and it was indeed low because the lady told us it was supposed to be over, 100 or whatever. I don't know what it was. And then it was like at like 60 or some shit. And I was like, oh my God, I was freaking the fuck out. And me and my ex were both freaking out. And then the hospital people from an hour away came, and they took him, and then Devin went with them. So I was alone at the hospital, and I was just crying, worried all night. And I think I called my mom, and I was crying, and I was like, Mom, they took my baby an hour away because there's something wrong. Like, he couldn't breathe. And then this is so emotional, man. I remember how awful it felt. I never felt so scared in my life. I love my son. But, because I just gave birth to him. And I went through all that pain. It hurts so bad. And, he's the little guy that's been going like this in my belly. I loved him. We were connected. And it just, I don't know, it was a lot. And then I remember my mom, I had problems getting discharged from the hospital because the baby daddy had to sign a paper. And I'm like, he's not here. He's in a hospital an hour away because my baby's in the NICU. So I have to just stay here. I can't even leave and see my own son. Yeah, it was a whole fucking thing, and I think I had to like stay a little bit more than I should have, if I'm being honest. Like, why does dad have to be there? I'm here. I need to see my son. But yeah, and it was just it was an emotional fucking journey, and I was in pain too. But I was more worried about my son. But yeah. But I had to sit in a wheelchair after I gave birth because it was so hard for me. Like, I walked so slow. I was like a literal snail. It hurt so bad to walk. I was like, oh my God. Because my coochie ripped the fuck up. Oh, I think my butthole might have ripped too. I don't know what ripped. It all ripped. Ow. And I had stitches. It was oh God. And it was bleeding. It was awful. But, and I'm so tiny. I'm like 5'2". I'm like, oh, maybe tall people have it better. I don't know. I have no clue how that works. I'm not tall. I'm short. But, because you know how little dogs sometimes die during childbirth? I feel like I'm like a little dog, not a big dog. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I felt like I was gonna die during childbirth. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 13 of pain. And nothing can prepare you for that. No, it can't. And the people that say it doesn't hurt, did you take an epidural? Because first of all, I took an epidural, and then I took an epidural, and then they had to turn it down because I fell the fuck asleep because I couldn't feel anything. So they had to turn it down so I had to feel it anyway. I'm like, oh yeah, great. So I felt it, and it fucking hurt. Yeah, it hurt like fuck. Women, mothers, you're tough. So I feel like period cramps are supposed to prepare you for birth. And I never got my period. So everything I felt was a complete surprise. And it all came all at once. And it was the worst. Yeah, you know how period cramps hurt real bad? That's like a small contraction. And I'm not even over exaggerating. Now, I've only had a few period cramps in my life that actually made me feel like that. Probably about 2. Other than that, I didn't really get period cramps. I didn't get my period. I didn't get cramps. I didn't get anything. So my body was not accustomed to, cramps or pain or anything. It just all came all at once. And I thought I was going to die. I didn't just feel like I was dying. I thought I was going to die. That's when I asked. I was freaking out. I was like, I need an epidural. Because I really thought I was going to die. Like, I genuinely thought my brain was going to shut off from the amount of pain that I went through. I genuinely did. I was freaking the fuck out. I didn't originally want an epidural. And, I was just in panic. I was in panic mode. I was like, I need it. I need it now. I need it. Like, I really thought I was dying. I thought I was going to die soon. I thought I was going to die soon if it wasn't for the epidural. But I think if I ever gave birth again, I would try not to get an epidural because, first of all, my epidural failed and they had to give me all the pain anyway. Yeah, they did. And that's when I started pushing and that bitch came out and, sorry. But, that baby came out and, though, nobody talks about, like, how mad you get during birth. Because there's people sitting around you, like your baby daddy and your mom, all calm, happy you're going to have a baby, and you're like this. Like, it's a whole experience, and you just want to cuss people out. You want to kill them. You want to kill people. You want to kill everybody around you. You're like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, it gets really violent when you're giving birth. You want to kill people. And because the amount of pain you're feeling and nobody understands, and they're all like, ah. I remember, I feel so bad, but when I was giving birth and I was pushing, I was screaming. And my mom was laughing because she was happy. And what I did, I called her a fucking bitch. A fucking bitch. And look, I love my mom, okay? To see her happy while I was in that much pain, that's why. That's why I called her a fucking bitch, because I loved her. And she was laughing because she was happy and I wasn't. Oh my God, the amount of pain. No, I told her I was so sorry after and she goes, I understand. And that's when I was like, thank you. Thank you so much. And I told her I didn't mean it. But I was just in so much pain, I didn't know what the fuck to do. And she said, I get it. Don't worry, it's fine. And I was like, okay. Okay. And I told her, I didn't want to see you laughing at me. I didn't want to see you happy while I'm in this much pain because you're my mom and I love you. And she's like, it's okay, honey. Because I remember I made her cry. Or she's probably just emotional anyway. She probably knew. But it's fine. I think I called everybody a bitch. No, I think I called the nurse a fucking bitch. You know what? I don't know, and I told her I was so sorry. I think I did. I don't even remember. My brain, I don't remember, but I remember I called my mom a bitch. I'm surprised I didn't cuss at my baby daddy, because I wanted to choke him, because he's the one that put that baby in me. I wanted to fucking kill him. I was like, it's your fault. It's your fault that I have to go through this. Like, that's how I felt while I was giving birth. I was like, I hate you. Like, I really wanted to say that. But I didn't say it to him for some reason. I probably should have attacked him instead of my mom, but I mean, we ended up breaking up anyway, so it's fine. But I mean, he's a good dad, it's fine. But I don't hate him, but sometimes I do. If I think about stuff that I don't want to think about, yes, I do hate him sometimes, but I love him too. It's just, I hate that he did stuff that I don't fucking like more than anything. It's not that I hate him, it's just I hate the shit that he did and the shit that he said. Yeah, I fucking hate him. But I also love him too. It's a weird thing. But love hate. But yeah. But yeah, that's part of my story. And then sorry, I'll go back to the NICU. So we went to the NICU. An hour away. We were there for about 3 days. He had tubes in his nose. Me and Devin were worried. We were upset. And I just felt really depressed. I'm sure he did too. But he had to get fed through his nose, and it was just a very uncomfortable experience to watch. And I also have to nipple feed him too, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was like, I don't know, because he wouldn't latch onto my nipple. I was like, oh my God, what do I do? He's gonna die. And after a while, his oxygen got better. They realized it was just meconium, and he's fine. But yeah, we got out 3 days later. We thanked God. And also, I remember there's a little church downstairs in the hospital, and there's a book, like a prayer book. And I put down in the prayer book, before we left, I put, this hospital, my baby was in the NICU because he couldn't breathe, and this hospital, we were here for 3 days, and the hospital helped, and now he's fine. So maybe somebody will read that and they'll cry or they'll feel better, or who knows. But that's a part of my story, and this is a very emotional roller coaster. Then we got home, and the motherhood started. You already know that part if you're a mom. And if you're not, there's a lot of sleepless nights because my baby daddy did not help me. So I had to be the one to take care of the baby every night, getting maybe 30, 40 minutes of sleep a night. For weeks. For months. And it started to get to the point where I told him, I said, you need to take care of this baby. You can do it. Because prior to that day that I asked him to help me, I got no sleep. And I was already running on 40 minutes of sleep for like 3 weeks. And I was like, I was delirious because I didn't sleep the night prior. And my baby at night was keeping me up. And I was just staring. And I was like, what's going on? And I was delirious. And I was like, I think he started falling asleep or something, and I thought he was dying. And I was like, oh my God. So I went like this, and I shook him just like a little bit. And then I was like, oh my God, I just shook the baby. But not like this, but it was like, just like a jolt, really. But I felt so bad after that because I started crying, and I was like, oh my God, what if I ruined him? What if I ruined his brain? Like, because I was so tired, and I literally genuinely thought that he was dying because I couldn't, my brain wasn't even working because I was running off of 40 minutes of sleep for 3 weeks, and then the night prior to that, I got no sleep. So my brain, and I think I was fucking hallucinating. I shit you not. I think my brain was seeing shit. I don't even know. But, and then the next day I was like, or whatever, I was like, you need to help me. And then he got mad. And he's like, well, I have to work in the morning. And I told him, I was like, you can fucking help me for one fucking day. And I was pissed. I was pissed. And I remember I had to stay up anyway to breastfeed him, but I was just watching him. I was watching him, and I was laughing at him. I was laughing because he can finally know what it's like for 3 fucking weeks. And then he said, why are you laughing at me? And I was like, I'm not. I just think it's funny that you're so mad and you only had to do it for one fucking day. Because he was mad. You could tell. And it pissed me off. I didn't like the way he was handling the baby either. I was like, my mother instincts, man. Because I know what it's like, you know, when you first started, I know it is, you do get a little angry. And I knew exactly what he was going through. And the thoughts you get in your head while you're angry is not really a good thing. They're just intrusive thoughts. It doesn't mean you want to hurt your baby. But you do get thoughts that come in your head, like, I could talk about this. You get thoughts like, what if I just threw this baby out the window? And Fenrir, if you watch this, I'm sorry, but this is what happens. It's not that you want to. It's just a thought because the baby won't stop screaming. The baby, you don't know what's wrong with it. It's stuff like that. And I'm being vulnerable right now on the internet. So if you don't have kids, then you will never understand. So don't sit there and judge me if you got something to say. But anyway, now I never ever wanted to hurt my baby. But I would get thoughts like that. Like I remember when he was first born, they had a giant microwave in my room. And I was thinking, why do they have this giant microwave? And then I had a flash of like, what if I put the baby in the microwave? Because it could fit the baby. The microwave was this big. Why? Why would they have a microwave that big in the hospital room? It's weird. It weirded me out. And when I thought that, I was genuinely frightened of myself because I was like, what the fuck? That was weird. It freaked me out. And no, I didn't put my baby in the microwave. I love my baby. Okay? But I want people to know that sometimes you don't bond with your baby right away. No. Because sometimes it's just not realistic. You had to go through a shitty, awful amount of pain. And that's the little creature, the little guy that made it happen. And you're just looking at him. You're like, what the fuck is that? And I'm being very vulnerable right now because I know I might get hate for this. I know I probably will if people watch this. But that's the genuine truth of how I felt. And I want people to know that you're not evil if you have those thoughts. You're not evil. It's just a thought. Just let it be. And no, I don't consider that postpartum depression. It's just an intrusive thought. That's what I call it. I never was depressed. I just had intrusive thoughts. And that's normal. It's normal. Now, if you act on your thoughts, you need to go somewhere. You need to go to hell. That's what I fucking said. You need to take your baby to the fucking fire department or something. Because if you want to hurt your baby, you need to get rid of your baby. You don't need kids. You need to give your baby to the fire department. That's what I fucking said. Don't fucking hurt your baby. No. No, because any stupid bitch that goes around hurting their children, no. No, I would never hurt my child. Ever. But having those thoughts does happen right after birth and like the first few months, and then after it goes away. Because after that, the baby's personality starts coming out around 3 months. You start to get to know your baby. I think around 3 months is when I started to really bond and have a true, love connection with my child. And that might not be the case for every mother. Maybe some people just love their baby right away. Well, that's great. But for me, that's not how it happened. And I feel like for a lot of mothers, that might not be the case. And maybe for some mothers, they'd lie about it. And that's okay. Yeah, it's okay to lie about it. Because you gotta be realistic. Life isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Having kids is not all sunshines and rainbows. It's got a lot of darkness, especially at the beginning. The intrusive thoughts, there's anger towards the baby. Not that you're acting out on the anger, but you feel angry because the baby won't stop crying and you're like, oh my God, why? Don't ever shake your baby. Don't ever hurt your baby. Don't ever scream at your baby. Now, I'm going to be honest. There's been a few times where I did shout at my baby. I didn't shout in his ear, but I was like in the other room and I was like, stop. Okay. no mother's perfect, first of all, and I never had kids before, and I never even been around kids before. So you're not, if you do that kind of stuff, you're not, I mean, nobody's perfect, okay? Having kids is a learning experience. No mother is perfect all of the time. Every mother makes mistakes. Okay? That's all I have to say. And that's all I have to say. But there's an extent. I feel like if you actually want to harm your baby, like I said, you need to get rid of your child. You need to take your child to the fire department. That's all I said. I swear to God. Do it. Not everybody's meant to be a mother. And if the least you could do is get rid of your child and take him somewhere safe, that's love. Enough. That's all I have to say. You don't gotta hurt nobody. But yeah, I hate people that hurt kids. Oh my God. You know, being angry at kids is one thing. You know, once in a while, it depends. It depends on the kind of anger. You know, just having angry feelings and not acting out, that's normal. Every parent gets a little upset, whatever. I feel like as you continue your journey as a mother, things do get easier and you find patience. There's a quote on the internet that said something like mothers are angels in training, and I do think that's kind of true because there's a lot of patience involved. There's a lot of anger that you have to hold inside your heart and just take a deep breath, give yourself a break, set your child down in the crib and drink a coffee for a minute. It's not an emergency, probably. And if it is, well, then fucking take care of your kid. But yeah, I don't know, but I don't know where this fucking went. But I think this was mostly about like babies at this point. But yeah, that's part of my story. And children are hard sometimes, but they're also very beautiful. I love my son more than anything in the whole universe, and seeing his little smile makes my day so happy, and I just love him so much, and I knew I would. It's just like at the beginning, like when he was a newborn, I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought that I was a fucking bitch, and I probably am, if I'm being honest. But I mean, at the same time, I'm sure there's many other mothers that go through this, and I just want to let you know, you're okay. If you don't want to hurt your baby, there's nothing wrong with you. You're all right. If you want to do something bad to your baby, please get help. Please maybe even get rid of your baby. Not kill your baby, but take him somewhere safe where somebody will take care of him. Because that's the least you can do. I don't know, that's really it. And there's a lot of stories of like, I remember there's this disgusting story of this teenage girl who like birthed a child and killed him right after. And then she sat in her hospital bed and they saw the dead body in the bathroom, and then her mom came in the room and she's like, what the fuck just happened? And then she said she killed her baby. No. That's disgusting. I don't care how old you are. Don't ever fucking kill a baby. People like that, I'm going to fucking... I want to just fucking kill those bitches. Just because, like, you killed a baby? You killed your own child? Like, that's how I feel. I feel like that should be, we should just be able to kill those people. In jail, I feel like they should just torture them until they die. Because that's just what I think. And I really hate that. I really, really hate that. I hate that that is a reality in this world. But having anger towards your baby, I think maybe it even has to do with your baby daddy. Perhaps you and your baby daddy didn't have a good relationship, and that might have something to do with your anger after birth. And you just need to sit back and realize this is your child, not just your baby daddy's. Yes, he's the one that put him in you, but at the end of the day, your baby did not ask to be here. You brought this baby into this world, and you need to learn how to be patient and how to love your baby. Because once you find the patience and care in your heart to love your baby, even if you're, mad at your baby daddy and you're just, having a bad time, you start to realize that your baby's an angel sent from heaven. And I really mean that. You start to realize that your baby is your happiness. And you start to feel so much love. You start to get to know your child. You start to be happier being a mother. And it's great. Being a mother at the beginning was awful for me. I could only imagine, people that are single mothers, or I don't know how you do it. You're a miracle. You're a miracle, and I'm very worried about you, and I'm very happy that you're taking care of your kids somehow. I don't know how you do it, but I'm proud of you. I don't know how you do it, because I don't, especially as a newborn, how the fuck do you do that? You go back to work the next day. What do you do? Who watches your baby if you don't have any money? I just don't get it. Maybe some people leave the baby at home all day. Oh, that would be bad. I don't know. You'd have to find somebody. Maybe a neighbor? An old lady? I don't know. Who else? It's crazy. This world's crazy. But yeah, hopefully somebody out there will understand me. I do not want people who aren't parents to try and sit here and belittle me because I had intrusive thoughts, or, it took me time to bond with my baby. Because life as a mother isn't all sunshine and rainbows. And maybe one day you'll understand. Because motherhood isn't what I thought it would be. Not at the beginning. But now it is. Maybe it's a little different, but it's still... Yeah. And I'm very proud of my son and about, who he's becoming and all that, and how big he's getting and how happy he is, and he makes me so happy and proud. And I just love seeing his little baby smile. And that's what life's all about. Life is all about love. So don't worry too much if you're not bonding with your baby right away. Online, they always told me, there's always stuff that says, oh, well, women have a burst of love hormones when the baby's born. I didn't get that. I thought I would have euphoric feelings. I didn't get that. I thought I'd be getting high. I didn't get that. No, I didn't. I just looked at the baby and went, what the fuck? And that's reality. That's reality. I'm sure many parents go through this. And mean, you gotta think, the baby might have a cone head, but he went through a journey, just like you did when you gave birth. I'm sure it hurt coming out. Especially, that's why his head's like a cone. But I remember looking at my baby when he came out, and I was like, I knew he'd be a cone head. Now, I said that with love, because, I mean, if you give birth to a baby, a lot of times their head will be shaped like a cone because of the birth canal. And it makes sense. And I just looked at his head and I said I knew he'd be a cone head. No, but I think it's cute. I think it's funny. But yeah, I love my baby so much. Oh, but yeah. Babies, I gotta tell you something. Babies, when they're newborns, they're gonna change drastically in the way that they look. So if your baby doesn't look like what you thought, you're not the only one. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. I love my child, but I'm being 100% vulnerable and honest with other mothers on the internet. That when your baby comes out, and if you think your baby looks strange, you're not the only one. I mean, he just came from the womb. He just came from inside of your body. Of course he's gonna look a little alien to you. And that's okay, because you're gonna love your little alien. Like, and sometimes, you know, with the cone head too, it reminded me of the Conehead movie. It reminded me of the Conehead movie, the Conehead aliens, and I mean that in the nicest way, because I loved my little alien. And he came out of me, and I was like, this is it. This is what motherhood's about. I'm such a bitch. No, but I'm being honest, okay? There's mothers that aren't honest, and I know it. I know you're not honest. You gotta be honest with yourself, lady. You gotta be honest with yourself. If you didn't think that, good for you, but there's plenty of mothers that did. That's okay. It doesn't make you a piece of shit to talk about it, because it's funny. It is. It's funny. It's funny that, you know, babies are pink when they come out and whatever. Little cone heads. A lot of them are cone heads, and that's fine. I left my little cone head, and his head now is perfectly round. Yeah, don't worry about, you know, if your baby looks like a cone head. Because I said, go back to normal. And every one of his facial features is going to change over the months, and he's going to be cuter and cuter and cuter and cuter, and then he'll be an adult, and then you'll go, what the fuck just happened? I want to wait. I don't even want to experience that right now. I want to have my baby, and I want to be a mother. But sorry if anybody's ever insulted Fenrir, if you ever watch this, my dear. Sorry if I insulted you and your baby self, but this is a reality. And sorry if it sounded rude or insulting. I love you so much. You're so gorgeous. Don't ever think that you're not gorgeous, because you are. And I just want to let you know that sometimes when children come out, they have cone heads. And that's normal. And sometimes, you know, you already know. You know, it's fine. And maybe if you have a kid and your baby comes out, you'll go, oh. So that's what you meant. And I'll be like, yeah. And everything's fine. But till that day happens, I love you. And sorry if you watched this and you were insulted. But I love you, my dear. And I just want you to know that motherhood, parenthood isn't perfect. And there's no you know, there's nothing perfect about it, and you just have to learn and go with the flow. Everything's gonna be fine. Love is here. And that's all I have to say. Goodbye, everybody.